Almost aluminium boats are built by welding. That is to say, the plates are laid on marble and welded together to form the hull and deck. This construction technique has developed considerably since the 1960s, thanks in particular to advances in welding techniques. The strong-hull construction technique, thick aluminium without structure, simplifies the construction method. This material is widely used for long-distance cruising boats and large superyachts, as it offers many advantages. Every Yellowfin is handcrafted in Gold Coast-based specialized plate boat factory by a team 10 highly skilled plate boat specialist welders. With over 100 hours of welding in each Yellowfin, the technicians pride themselves on producing only quality products. Yellowfin plate boats are hand-built tough, designed by 8 full-time research and development professionals with over 150 years of combined marine design expertise. Their diverse backgrounds include mechanical engineering, hands-on sheet metal and broiler fabrication, and certification in AutoCAD, SolidWorks computer program design. Raw materials. Acquiring aluminum from the absolute highest quality sources available, using strictly 5052-5086 marine sheet metal throughout construction. Welding wire is also of compatible, marine-grade alloy, ensuring that electrolysis doesn't quickly destroy the most vital part of the boat, the welds. Hull design. As with any quality aluminum boat on the market, Yellowfin plate hulls are designed using a longitudinal stringer framework. This ensures that any impact is transferred down the entire length of the hull, causing less stress on any one point. Longitudinal stringers also prevent waving or dips in the hull bottom and ensure a solid, even surface for years to come. All double-floor boats not only have a longitudinal stringer framework but are also boxed in throughout the length of the hull for the ultimate in stiffness and strength. Marine core construction. It's what's under the floor that makes Yellowfin plate boats some of the toughest on the market. The entire range is built with an internal subframe, milk crate structure of longitudinal and latitudinal ribs to reinforce strength and help shape the hull. Each boat is constructed with vertical stringers, each being 6 mm thick and 5 mm horizontal ribs for maximum strength, and completed with a fully welded checker plate floor. To provide additional support to the self-draining checker plate floor, a box section floor frame is also fitted. Using extrusion specifically designed for marine products, the chine and the keel are not simply welded but reinforced by a total of 4 welds performed by an expert technician. Constructed with 6 mm plate bottom sheets of marine-grade aluminium and 4 mm topsides, the Yellowfin plate range is built for serious fishing. Auto drain deck. The auto drain deck expels water quickly and efficiently from the hull with a rear gutter which guides excess water to a lower chamber ready to be pumped out. Australian certified. You can rest assured the Yellowfin range is built to Australian recreational boat standards. Building a wooden boat requires the right tools, materials, patience and information. These following steps in the video will let you know how this beautiful wooden boat is built. 1. Collect all the materials and tools needed. The tools and materials needed to build a wooden boat are pine wood, screws, safety gloves and goggles, drills and saws, wood sanding machine, epoxy resin, wooden boat paint, boat designs and plans, varnish. 2. Plan the boat layout and design. A boat builder will need boat designs, dimensions and plans. This will provide the exact dimensions to build the majority of recreational wooden boats. 3. Create the center rib and transom. To create the center rib and transom, glue the hardwood floorboards together to create the transom. Sandwich the transom in between 2 flat pieces of wood or metal and then clamp it tight to make sure that the transom is flat. Use some kitchen wrap to make sure that the 2 pieces of wood do not get glued to the transom. Sand the pieces of wood that will be used for the center rib, glue them and clamp them before you glue them together. Once the glue is dry, cut out the keel and chines. Creating the rib and transom will take a boat builder 2 to 3 hours. However, this time frame will vary massively based on the size of the boat and the boat design. 4. Create the boat frame. To create the boat frame, follow the boat design. Determine the size, shape, and style of your boat. This will dictate the number and spacing of frames required. Make a full-size drawing. A full-size drawing will help you to lay out the frames accurately. This can be done using paper, plywood, or a computer program. Cut the keel and stem. The keel and stem are the backbone of the boat. Cut them to the appropriate size and shape. Determine the frame spacing. Calculate the distance between each frame based on the size and shape of your boat. This will vary depending on the design chosen. Cut the frames. Use the full-size drawing to create a template for each frame. Trace the template onto the wood and cut out each frame. Install the frames. Place each frame in its designated location and secure it to the keel and stem using clamps or screws. Check the alignment. Ensure that each frame is aligned properly with the keel and stem. Adjust as necessary. Install the stringers. The stringers are the horizontal members that connect the frames. Install them in the appropriate location and secure them to the frames. Install the planking. The planking is the outer layer of the boat. Install it over the frames and stringers, securing it with screws or nails. Creating a frame for the boat will take approximately 3 to 5 hours to complete. However, this time frame can vary based on the size of the vessel being built. 5. Add the seat rails and keel strip. To create the seat rails, determine the location and size of the seat rails. This will depend on the design of your boat and the type of seat you plan to install. Measure and cut the seat rails. Use a saw to cut the rails to the appropriate length. Ensure that they fit snugly into the boat. Sand the edges of the seat rails. Use sandpaper to smooth the edges of the seat rails. Install the seat rails. Secure the rails in place using screws or bolts, making sure they are level and well supported. To create the keel strip, determine the length of the keel strip. Measure the length of the keel and cut the keel strip to match. Sand the surface of the keel. Use sandpaper to roughen the surface of the keel. This will help the adhesive to bond more effectively. Apply the adhesive. Apply a marine-grade adhesive to the keel strip, making sure to spread it evenly. Install the keel strip. Press the keel strip firmly onto the keel, ensuring that it is centered and well aligned. Creating the keel strip and seat rails will take approximately 1 to 2 days to complete. This will vary based on experience and the size and design of the boat being built. 6. Add the wood planks and seats. To add wooden planks, prepare the planks. Cut the planks to the appropriate size and shape for your boat. If necessary, steam or soak the planks to make them more pliable and easier to work with. Apply glue to the frames and keel. Apply a marine-grade adhesive to the frames and keel where the planks will be installed. Install the planks. Begin at the bottom of the boat and work your way up. Place each plank onto the adhesive and secure it to the frames using clamps or screws. Repeat the process. Continue adding planks until the entire boat is covered. Be sure to sand each plank before installing the next one to ensure a smooth and even surface. Finish the planks. Once all of the planks are installed, sand the entire surface of the boat to smooth out any rough spots. Finish the planks with paint, varnish, or another protective coating. To add the seats to the wooden boat, determine the location of the seats. Decide where you want to install the seats and mark the locations on the boat. Cut the seat supports. Cut pieces of wood to the appropriate size to serve as the supports for the seats. Install the seat supports. Secure the supports to the frames using screws or bolts. Ensure that they are level and well supported. Cut the seat planks. Cut the seat planks to the appropriate size and shape. Sand the edges to ensure a smooth surface. Install the seat planks. Place the seat planks onto the supports and secure them using screws or bolts. Be sure to leave enough space for cushions or other seat padding. Finish the seats. Sand the surface of the seats to smooth out any rough spots. Finish the seats with paint, varnish, or another protective coating. Adding wooden planks and seats to the boat will take 2 to 3 days to complete. This time frame will vary based on the size and design of the wooden vessel. 7. Add epoxy, sand and paint the boat. After the wooden boat has been constructed, adding epoxy, sanding, and painting it are important steps to protect the wood and provide a finished look. Here are the general steps for adding epoxy, sanding, and painting a wooden boat. Prepare the boat. Before adding epoxy, ensure that the boat is completely dry and free of any dust or debris. Cover any areas that you don't want to be coated with epoxy. Mix the epoxy. Follow the manufacturer's instructions to mix the epoxy resin and hardener. Use the recommended ratio of resin to hardener for the best results. Apply the epoxy. Using a brush, apply the epoxy to the boat surface. Work in small sections, and apply enough epoxy to cover the surface without it running or dripping. Sand the epoxy. After the epoxy has dried, use sandpaper to sand the surface smooth. Start with coarse grit sandpaper and work your way up to a finer grit sandpaper. Be sure to wear a mask and safety glasses to protect yourself from the dust. Clean the boat. After sanding, wipe down the boat with a clean, damp cloth to remove any dust. Paint the boat. Apply a marine-grade paint to the boat using a brush or spray gun. Follow the manufacturer's instructions for the best results. Allow the paint to dry completely before applying a second coat. Sand the painted surface. After the paint has dried, use a fine grit sandpaper to sand the surface of the boat. This will help the next coat of paint to adhere better. Apply additional coats of paint. Apply additional coats of paint as necessary, sanding between each coat. This will help to build up a smooth, even finish. Finish the boat. Once the final coat of paint has dried, inspect the boat for any rough spots or imperfections.